So, thanks to the CoreELEC team, we now have what was thought impossible before now. Dolby Vision FEL full enhancement layer support with new media players beyond Ugoos AM6B Plus and Homatic's 4K Plus, and with CoreELEC NO with Kodi 22. In this video, I'll share my honest opinion whether Ugoos SK4, SK4 Pro, or more so AM9 Pro will dethrone AM6B Plus as the #1 enthusiast media player as of early 2024. You should know that none of the new players support installing CoreELEC to the internal flash or eMMC because of Android 14 restrictions. And with the latest Android firmware on AM9 Pro, CoreELEC will only work off of microSD and unfortunately not USB. With SK4 and Pro, the budget options, USB-C is the best option. I recommend using a cheap USB-C Ethernet hub with CoreELEC on a good USB stick. I ended up switching to a UFSD stick, or you can also use a SSD USB for best performance. Let's compare these three boxes starting with their benchmarks. You can see SK4 Pros and SK4 will be the same, performance to be respectable. And the new AM9 Pro is 25% better. And what do we have here? The 5-year-old AM6B Plus still beating AM9 Pro by 10% in 2026. Let's first focus on the entry-level option SK4. Its Wi-Fi 6 performance is very good for locally streaming even the most demanding UHD rips. Its wired performance, on the other hand, sucks with its built-in 100 meg Ethernet. However, using a gigabit Ethernet hub, this one's a cheap USB-C type, works great as you'll see with an iPerf 3 test between my Synology NAS and the SK4. With my movies and TV shows library scanning, I found all three Ugoos players did so about as fast. SK4's library navigation performance is responsive and snappy, but AM9 Pro and AM6B Plus feel somewhat but still noticeably faster in comparison. So I have to demo why we home theater enthusiasts crave full Dolby Vision capable media players, and that's because many UHD titles have DV FEL with an enhancement layer with important brightness, contrast, color, specular details, or other subtle gradient data which otherwise get ignored by most media players. And there she is, the silhouette of the woman from the movie Mortal Engines we're seeing in the enhancement layer in this test clip only because DV FEL is supported. Playing one more test clip to confirm DV FEL support. This one makes it obvious. So I won't repeat these DV FEL tests for AM9 Pro next or AM6B Plus. I tested with CENO, but all three support FEL perfectly with actual UHD FEL movies. Next, let's test 3D frame-packed MVC and full side-by-side. For some of us, probably not most, 3D playback is important because we have large 3D movie collections and displays that play them, like many of the latest 4K DLP projectors. More so than, say, AV1, for which there aren't any studio releases and mostly found on YouTube videos or rare re-encoded MKVs in the wild. This 3D frame-packed MVC movie unfortunately plays in 2D on SK4 and also AM9 Pro. It plays in 3D, however, on AM6B Plus, but only using CoreELEC NG builds, and not on an official NO Nightly build.
"9 years later, my father joined her in death."
And full side-by-side 3D plays in half resolution on SK4 and AM9 Pro, effectively HSBS. I used a separate 3D FSBS resolution test clip to check. You can see a weird, stretched, and overlapping artifact of this when I bring up the player process info overlay here.
Are you sure about this? The inscriptions we found are clear. And I'm positive about that translation. There is something inside that mountain.
Now switching to the Ugoos AM9 Pro and showing you 3 HD and object-based audio tests out of all the types I tested, like Dolby Digital Plus, True HD, Atmos, DTS HRA, DTS MA, DTS X, and PCM 5.1 and 7.1. This SK4 and AM6B Plus all play all the necessary audio formats properly. This is a PCM 7.1 clip, even though it says DTS here. Okay, to wrap up, here's a comparative summary of the 3 players and their support of video and audio formats. And I'll continue to make the case that even in 2026, full 3D support remains important with 3D projectors aplenty, 800 to 900 unique 3D Blu-rays out there, and a few solid 3D conversion apps to make our own. 3D is certainly more important than something like AV1 or H.266 being supported in SK4 and AM9 Pro. And here's how I see the overall pros and cons for each of these 3 players. Price aside for a bit, or even AV1 or H.266, I'd still rank the 5-year-old Ugoos AM6B Plus #1 today, followed just behind by AM9 Pro. It's just lacking full 3D support. Then SK4 or Pro, also without 3D support, but good enough value options. With the price for AM6 having shot up almost $100 more than what it was 2 years ago, consider a new Fire TV Cube 2 off eBay. You can still find a new sealed one for about $80 to $100 and fairly easily perform root for CoreELEC use. See my dedicated video on this. Cube 2 has very similar hardware to AM6B Plus and has something AM6 Plus does not, which is dual boot to proper Android with certified streaming apps like Netflix, Prime, Disney Plus, HBO Max, etc. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.